Zach Wilson plays his best game as a pro, but it's not enough as the Jets fall 33-18, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Glenn Naughton with Jet Nation Radio and JetNation.com. Be sure to log into JetNation.com where you can register to become part of what is the most active Jets message board on the web. So, as you likely know by now, the Jets lost at home yesterday to the Eagles 33-18. Zach Wilson came out on fire, looked as good as he has looked all season. Led the Jets on a few touchdown drives, was going toe-to-toe with the Eagles and Gardner Minshew, who looked like a first ballot Hall of Famer against this atrocious defense once again. Eventually, the Jets' production stopped when the Eagles got the ball to start the second half, and the Eagles just kept possession. The Jets were going to have to be perfect in that second half on offense because anytime they punted it away, the Eagles just chewed up clock and chewed up clock and chewed up clock. So the offensive production went down, but let's not pretend that they had several drives or that they had possession for long enough to get something going. The Eagles offense just steamrolled the Jets defense. There was no answer for anything the Eagles did. As I said, the Eagles hung 33 on this defense, and they wore them down, and it didn't matter. Even when the Jets defense was fresh, it was bad. When they were worn down, they were worse. And the Eagles were just stringing together one drive after another, and the defense had no answer for them, which we've seen quite a bit under Robert Saleh. So the good news is that Zach Wilson looked as good as he's looked. He was quick. He was decisive. Ball was out in a hurry. Again, he was only sacked twice. So the issue of holding the ball too long and taking a ton of sacks that we saw early in the year, that's not a thing anymore. Or at least it hasn't been the last few weeks. I believe he's been sacked now over the past 5 games, 10 sacks. So he's getting sacked twice a game over his past 5, after getting sacked 15 times in his first 3. So we've seen a lot of improvement there. The short game accuracy was there. Some of the balls weren't perfect, but they were catchable balls on target, completed to his receivers. 23 out of 38. And if we're going to be honest, 4 or 5 drops from his receivers. At least one ball that he spiked to stop the clock or when there was nobody open. So really, his adjusted completion percentage, we'll see what that is later today, but he should be in the sort of, 28, 29 out of 37, 38 range. That's a pretty damn good day. A couple drops by Elijah Moore, which was a little bit disappointing. Corey Davis with a drop. Like I said, I think I counted 5 total. So not a ton of help for the kid, but it was an encouraging game. To some people, it doesn't matter. I thought he played really well, and we're still seeing his critics, the detractors, whatever, giving up on the kid after 7 games. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hall of Fame head coach Bill Walsh, his standard was, he needed 19, 20 games to make a call on a quarterback and decide, is this guy good or not? Does this guy belong in the NFL or not? So Bill Walsh needed 20 games to evaluate his quarterbacks. Jets fans need 5, 6, 7. And people are ready to quit on this kid. Hopefully, this is a case of the vocal minority, when you get a small group of people who do a lot of talking about something that may not make any sense, but it doesn't stop them from saying it over and over again. Zach Wilson may or may not work out, but we're certainly not going to know that in just a handful of games. Eagles held the ball for 35 minutes, and I'll tell you what, it felt like 29 of them were in the second half. Again, the Eagles were able to pound the ball all day, ran it up the middle on the Jets. Ran it up the middle on the Jets, where they struggled. The Jets struggled to stop the run, struggled to stop the pass. I will say, though, Bryce Hall, not a bad day from him. Pretty good job there. Some concern, Michael Carter, concussion protocol. Nothing updated on that, but last night we were hearing concussion protocol. So that's obviously a big deal. If he's out, you would expect Javelin Guidry to slide into that spot if Carter can't go next week against the Saints. But right now, this team is doing some things on offense that are very encouraging moving forward. I mean, we've talked for years about how this team has been, locked in the Stone Ages with their offensive approach, with their offensive game planning. And now that's not the case anymore. We're seeing motion, trick plays, 4 or 5 receiver sets. We're seeing them use the whole field. We're seeing encouraging signs. And if you're not encouraged by the fact that Zach Wilson looked a little bit better this week, now you could argue the Tennessee game was better. I still thought this one was better. Maybe it's recency bias. Maybe because I've just watched it. It felt like the ball was coming out quicker, more frequently. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe Tennessee was better, but I doubt it. So this was a very encouraging game. Jets fans should be excited about it. As far as the defense goes, listen, they went heavy on offense early in this draft. Now they're going to do the flip side in the next one. This next draft, with all these early picks that Joe Douglas has, he hit on AVT, he hit on Elijah Moore, he hit on Michael Carter. I'm still going to say I believe Zach Wilson's going to be a hit. So Joe Douglas hit on a lot of guys in this class. You're talking 4 starters at your top 4. And the guys behind them, we'll see how they pan out over the years. But as we said, Michael Carter the second, really, if you include Eccles, this class may have 6 starters. But again, the key or the big thing is that the 4 on offense. Because I do believe, and we'll talk about this later in the week, I think we're going to see flip the script, go heavy on defense in the next class, address some needs. Yes, there will be some early guys. You need some O-line early on. But who, when, what spot, first round, second round, that remains to be seen. But as it stands right now, the New York Jets are an improving football team, heading in the right direction. The quarterback, it looked like things slowed down for him a little bit. And you hear that term all the time with young players, especially quarterbacks. Let's see how he does when things start to slow down. So, based on the fact that he was playing faster, Zach Wilson, that tells me that maybe the guys around him in his mind were playing a little slower. He was seeing things a little bit quicker than he was in recent weeks. Again, I'm not going to freak out over the second half slump. I think a lot of that was down to the fact that the Eagles held the ball so long. And as I said, if the Jets weren't perfect, it was getting punted back to the Eagles and they were going to take another 6, 7, 8 minutes off the clock. So, I'll watch the game another time or two. We'll post something midweek on Jet Nation AM. Be sure to log into Jet Nation or to check out Jet Nation Radio. And I'll be doing a Jet Nation Radio AM for a morning show. And check out Alex Varallo and Dylan Terraman on Jet Nation Radio Tuesday night, 6:30. And that'll wrap it up for us this week. We'll catch you in a few days, Jets fans.